My name is Phil Westren. I'm a former player of the club. I've been a long-time committee member as well, and I work for the Cornish Pirates. I've been a media officer for a good number of years now. I played over 500 games for the Pirates during my time as a young man, but then I took to committee work, and I've been involved virtually a lifetime. For the best part now is 60 years. The game of rugby football in Cornwall, just a little bit of general interest. It arrived in Cornwall in about 1870 with Bodmin claiming to be the first club in the county to play the game. Penzance was formed in about 1876. Newlyn a little bit later, the separate club in 1894-95. Now over the years, being so close together, it was quite natural. There was a lot of parochialism. It still pervades around. It does generally. It's no bad thing as long as it doesn't go too far. But towards the end of the 1930s, approaching the Second World War, and by the end of the Second World War, both sides amalgamated to form Penzance Union Rugby Football Club. And Penzance Union Rugby Football Club, the Pirates, played a first ever game against Guy's Hospital on the Menai Field on the 22nd of September 1945. And things grew from there. We quite soon provided many players to the Cornish side, and even England players. John Kendall Carpenter, for instance, capped for England in the late 1940s. He captained England in 1951. And John is very special, John Kendall Carpenter, with reference to the game. And we'll come to a little bit more about him later on. We must also mention Stack Stevens, who we'll come to as well, who also would later play for England. First played against South Africa in 1969-70. And would then go on. He played for the British Lions in 1971. He played many times for England. So a very special person in our history, Brian Stack Stevens. But we're absolutely delighted that both his sons, Sam and John, have played for the Pirates. And John, of interest, the youngest son, he is our present club captain here at the Pirates. When we have any Kiwis, any New Zealanders join us, and there have been a number over the years, the first thing I would normally say to them, I say, look, come and follow me a minute, okay? And I bring them into this lounge bar here at the Pirates Clubhouse and ask them to look at this photograph and say, anything you recognize about it? And because there's several really good All Blacks there, former All Blacks there, they can only pick up on one or two players. For instance, Brian Williams, great All Black in his time. Sid Goen, fairly easy, recognizable to a lot. Ian Kirkpatrick, another. Okay, so it's the All Blacks. But who are they playing? Well, it makes sense, obviously. The response is going, well, presumably maybe England. True, they're playing against England. And it was on the September the 15th, 1973. Look, virtually 50 years ago. Quite incredible to think. But the important thing is, that's a try being scored for England, an historic victory, beating New Zealand in New Zealand. And then I point out the punchline. Stack Stevens, the great Stack Stevens, that scored the try in this particular photograph. And John, as I mentioned previously, Stevens, his youngest son, is the captain, of course, of the Cornish Pirates this season. Now here we have another series of images of a great pirate, somebody in world terms goes down in history very much. And the reason is that he was the chairman of the first Rugby World Cup Committee, and at this particular time in this World Cup year is something we always reflect back on. John McGregor Kendall Carpenter. As a young man, he played for England, captain England. That's another picture of him here in the late 1940s with two schoolboy internationals from the Pirates. Gerald Luke, who's a wonderful centre three-quarter, could easily play for the England senior side, and Jim Matthews, a young prop forward. Well, we want to talk about Dicky Evans this morning here at the Menai Field, the place he knows very well indeed. He was Penzance born, of course, and he would play for Kenya. He would captain Kenya and also captain East Africa. So, you know, he was making a real mark for himself, not just as a rugby player, but also in business terms in Africa. Now, he had a rekindled interest in the Pirates from about 1990, that sort of period of time. He wanted to give something back, remembering his roots. And he first of all started to get involved again from afar. Didn't have to do it, so great credit to him for that. Enormous credit. He gave a minibus to our mini junior section, our youth section, would, you know, clearly a great help to them. Also, he funded visiting teams to tour abroad, our youth teams, including to L'Aquila in Italy, and he hosted them also in Kenya. So again, a great mark. And during the period of time in the early 90s, we were developing our training ground, which is the many nurseries field. And at that particular time, we had to raise funds, and we had a many nurseries appeal fund, and Dicky was one of the leading contributors to that. Now, at just the start of our Golden Jubilee year in 95-96, we invited Richard to be president of Penzance Rugby Football Club, the Pirates, which he delighted to say he accepted. And it was also that sort of period of time, it was the start of professionalism. So it also gave us an opportunity, and he was willing to back the club to try to climb up the league ladder, which happened. I say we had a meteoric rise over a number of years. We had gone from the second level initially where we started, and we ended up second from the top where we are now, which is fantastic achievement in itself. It wouldn't have been done without Dicky's input. And along the way, of course, there was many changes that we had, a lot of support given in a variety of ways to Dicky himself, which he appreciated, both in sponsorship and people giving of themselves as well. So that was very much appreciated. In National 1 that we achieved promotion to in 2003, that was the second level in English rugby, the equivalent now to the Championship. Our second year in it, 2003-4, 2004-5, had a much better year. And we had to think about what are we going to do? Are we to get the best out of ourselves? And people had various ideas. And in about early 2005, it was mooted that perhaps we could change our first team name to the Cornish Pirates. We could also maybe move and go to a place called Kenwyn near Truro to play our games, more central in Cornwall, to attract crowds for people to have the opportunity to watch that better quality rugby. And all of this also, of course, gave us hope for a dream of one day achieving Premiership rugby for Cornwall. And Dicky had put a vast amount of effort into that hope and dream, which is still there. In 2007, we won the EDF Energy National Trophy at Twickenham. We beat Exeter Chiefs in the final on a wonderful day in the heat of the midday sun. Then in 2010, another great reward for the players, for everybody supporting the club generally, people about Cornwall that were supporting us and able to witness a good standard of rugby. That's something that we wanted to do, which had been missed. And we beat Munster in the final of the British and Irish Cup, the first ever time in 2010. It was the first year for the trophy. So what a thing, what a fantastic achievement to win that. And we follow that up, those successes, with 2 championship finals. 2 years we were in championship finals, and once again, these were things that were a great credit to the Pirates. Couldn't have been done without the support of Dicky, but a great credit to everybody involved as well.
This is what I call